welcome back to my channel.
What it do?
Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with my fiance and we are going to be talking about the story on how we met. This is a long video that we've been wanting to do for the longest time, and now we're engaged, planning a wedding, so we thought it would be a great time.
You guys want to know all the juicy stuff, don't you? Here it comes.
So basically what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be talking about my perspective and Gabe's going to be talking about his perspective on how we met. So basically, I'll start. I grew up in Ohio my whole life and I moved to Florida not really knowing anybody. I moved with my family, so like I had my family with me, but I didn't really have any friends. I literally moved to Florida not knowing anybody. So my family and I were going to a church together. It was kind of like a mega church, so it was kind of hard for me to make friends. I feel like the only way for me to get plugged in to really get to know people is through Bible study or youth group or something like that. So my family kept telling me, like, Brooklyn, like, you need to go to the young adults group here. There's a young adults group at church. And I was like, yeah, I want to go, but like I just need to be prepared first when I go, because I'm naturally introverted. So whenever I meet new people, I kind of need to be prepared first, which sounds kind of silly, but I just feel like I'm my best self when I know, like, I'm prepared and I know that I'm meeting people that day. One day, we're out and about with my family, like, doing stuff in the town, and all of a sudden, they just dropped me and my sisters off by young adults, and I'm like, I was not expecting to go to young adults today. Like, I'm not going. Like, this is not what I had planned today. You guys are just joking with me. You guys never told me I'm coming. My parents had the best motives. They were really just trying to get me to have a community. So anyways, my younger sister was like, well, I'm not going to let you stop me from going. I'm going anyways. But she didn't want to go by herself. So she brought our even younger sister, who wasn't old enough to go to young adults at the time. And she's like, I'm bringing Summer with me anyways. Summer is my younger sister. And so Summer and my other sister Cassidy went to go to young adults that day, and I literally didn't go. And I was like,
you missed out. You missed out on a good one.
So my dad kept joking around with me in the car and saying, well, maybe your future husband's in there. Maybe your future husband's in that building right now. And I was getting so upset that my dad was saying that, because back in the past, I used to be one of those people where every time I would go somewhere new, I would always think, like, maybe my future husband's in here today. And I used to have that mindset where it got unhealthy and where I wasn't really seeing the big picture of me being at that place. So I was trying to have the mentality of not going into things with that mindset anymore, where I was really just going to things because I wanted to meet new friends, I wanted to get to know Jesus better, I wanted to become closer to Jesus and stuff like that. So going into young adults, that was my motive. So when my dad kept saying that comment, I was like, Dad, I'm not going to meet my future husband, I'm going to meet friends and get to know Jesus better. Like, that's not my motive. So it was annoying me. So I go into the Instagram of the young adults page and go in and click the first comment I see just to make my dad annoyed. And I say, yeah, Dad, maybe this guy. And I was joking around, and that guy was Gabe. He literally was the first comment I saw on the Instagram. I just clicked into it and literally, like, just was joking around and being sarcastic to my dad. And even though deep down I did think he was attractive from the photo I saw. But yeah, Summer and Cassidy, my sisters, met Gabe that night.
They did.
After young adults, my sisters were like, you should definitely go. Like, we loved it. We had a great experience. And I was like, oh, I definitely plan on going. I want to go. I just want to go when I'm prepared.
Yeah.
So the next week, I went. But this time, it was me and my sister Cassidy. Our other younger sister, Summer, didn't go because she wasn't old enough. And she just went the week before to be with my sister. As soon as I walk into the doors, Gabe is standing there, greeting new people, just talking to new people. And he looks over at me and Cassidy and says, oh, look, it's the sisters. And then looks at me and says, wait, you're not the same sister that was here last week. And I was like, yeah, my name's Brooklyn. That night, I went to young adults. Literally 5 that I was my younger sister. And they're like, oh, you girls are back. And I'm like, back? I've never been here before. Like, that was my other sister. And they're like, oh, you guys look so much alike. So basically, so many people that night thought I was my younger sister, except Gabe. He was the only one that noticed I was different. So when that happened, I was like, oh, like he noticed I was different. And that night, like, he came up to me a few times after service, like after the message. He came up to me and gave me a high five. I said, it was good seeing you. And he was like, it was good meeting you. And I was like, yeah, I meant good meeting you. He just came up to me a few times, and I thought he was super outgoing, super sweet. I loved his personality. I thought he was so attractive. And then he followed me on Instagram that night. And that's our story. Actually, there's a whole nother part of our story that is completely crazy. Before I moved to Florida, my family and I would go to the church we were going to on a vacation every time we would come to Florida. So when my family would come to Florida, we would go for like weeks and weeks at a time, where we would be missing church for weeks and weeks. So we were like, why don't we just find a church in Florida that we go to when we're on vacation? So we found this church, which is why we actually were going to this church when we first moved, because we already were going to it when we went on vacation. So when we were living in Ohio during like COVID time, when you couldn't go to church anymore and everybody watched church online, my family and I watched so many church services online, like constantly all the time. And one of them was the church that we went to in Florida. We even watched before COVID happened. Like, we would watch online before COVID happened. I don't even remember what happened. I was just watching church online and I made a face. And my sister looked at me and said, why are you making that face? And I was like, what face? And then she's like, you think that drummer's cute, don't you? And I was like, how did you know that? I was like, yeah, I do. And then, like, I find out later that years later, literally like 2 years later, I find out later that was Gabe. And I never really thought into that at all. Like, I literally didn't even know at that point I was moving to Florida yet. So like when I did move to Florida and like I did go to this church constantly every week, I never even once thought like, oh my gosh, the drummer on that online service. Like, I never thought that. So then when my sister brought it up to me, I was like, oh my gosh, that's weird. But that's her story, my perspective. Now we're gonna talk about Gabe's perspective.
So my perspective of meeting Brooklyn for the first time ever, like she said, they walked in. I realized that it wasn't the same. It was two sisters, and then another sister walked in, and I was like, wait, you're not the same sister I saw last week. Who are you? Like, are you new? And she's like, yeah, I'm Brooklyn. I'm the older sister. I was like, oh, you're the older sister, huh? So kind of like
the older sister.
Yeah. So I was like, in my mind, I was thinking, man, this girl's really freaking cute. Like, her whole outfit was on point. Like, her makeup was looking good. Like, I was just like, man, this girl, she knows how to dress, and she knows how to, like, everything. So during like worship, I wasn't playing at the time either. It was my off week.
Yeah, we forgot to mention that at this young adults group, Gabe played the drums. Yeah. And then I became the photographer.
Yes. But it was my off week, and when we were sitting and when I was worshiping, I kind of was like worshiping, but not worshiping, because like I couldn't take my eyes off Brooklyn, because she like sat across from me, so where I could see her from my peripheral vision, kind of like this. And I was like, man, I cannot keep my eyes off this girl. Like, why can I not keep my eyes off her? Not trying to sound creepy or anything like that, but she's just really beautiful. And I was just like, I need to just get to know this person. After service, I made sure that, like, hey, did she like YA? Like, what'd she think about it? And
YA is young adults, by the way.
Yes, she's like, I really loved it a lot. I can't wait to come to it again. And as she said, it was good seeing you, and I said it was good meeting you. So kind of like we kind of like changed the phrase, because we just met for the first time. And that night, that
was just me being awkward.
Yeah, but that night I did follow her on her Instagram. I did check her out. And I saw that she was a photographer as well, and I was like, whoa. But she did tell me that when we were talking to each other.
Yeah, I told him I was a photographer that night, and he's like.
But I did see her page, and I was like, wow, this girl is really freaking cute again. I was just like, oh my goodness, like her style, everything, and I was just like, I need to get to know this girl, and basically,
a few days later, I posted a Instagram story of me like singing in the car with my siblings to Reliant K. Shout out if you know who they are.
Shout out, big shout out.
And Gabe responded.
What are I did the hang loose sign like this.
Yeah, and then like after that, he like started a conversation with me and like would text or DM me back and forth.
Yeah.
Basically told me that this was like 3 days after we met. I want to get to know you.
Of course.
So I was like, whoa, like he's being straightforward.
Now.
But yeah, when Gabe told me that he wanted to get to know me more, I was like, oh my gosh, like I really liked his personality. I thought he was so attractive. Maybe I will give him a chance. And I'm so glad I did, because now we're engaged.
Now we're engaged, but then we'll tell you all about that in the next video.
Yeah, we'll do multiple videos, but if you guys want to like and subscribe, hit the button down below. I'm going to be doing a lot of wedding videos. Wedding dress shopping is going to be one of my next videos coming up. And then I'm also going to be doing like DIY wedding decor, because we are DIYing a lot of our wedding decor for our reception. So if you guys love watching wedding videos, even if you're already married or not even engaged or dating, but you like watching wedding videos, subscribe. But we're also not going to be just doing wedding videos. We're going to be doing Jesus videos, travel videos, vlogs. Since we live in Orlando, there's going to be Disney videos. So if you love going to Disney, or you're about to go visit Disney for the first time ever and you need some tips,
I know all you Disney lovers, don't worry.
Yeah, and someday when we get passes to Universal, we'll even do Universal vlogs too. So we are so excited for this channel that I'm starting back up again.
Yep.
And I have so many ideas